none of you have been honest with me about what happened out there.
Why are you really here?
Out there. Nature holds us all to account. Nature holds us all to account.
Lucy, we spoke on the weekend, actually on the red carpet, and Sisi, you won't remember this, but we spoke for Mortal Kombat back a couple
All
of
those
years
ago.
Yes.
Nice
So
to see you again, babe.
it's lovely to speak to you both again. I love the movie, saw it last week, and it's great. The first film is one of my favourite Australian movies ever. This one totally lives up to it. What is it like to work on such a big Australian event film like this? We don't get a lot of these that often these days.
That's true. It's wonderful to contribute. I really think we need to be investing in the Australian industry more. And we're seeing it with some really amazing shows coming in, definitely. But didn't someone say that it was like the 15th highest, the Dry One was like the 15th highest grossing Australian film of all time?
Something like that, yeah.
Of all time? That's insane. That's insane. And then in some other list, it was in the top 3. Like you're right, it's huge.
On a wider canvas, what is the importance of Australian storytelling to the both of you?
Oh, I mean, like, I feel like it's interesting. Australia's identity is sort of, to me, very much influenced by, we're so US centric as a world, which is great. There's so many cool things happening over there and coming out of there. And, I'm so inspired by a lot of the work that is put on there. But I feel like we are not America.
Yeah.
We are not the UK. We have
need
our
to
own
find our own
cultural identity here and our own sort of cultural nuances that I think are particularly interesting. And I think that they should be, shared. I think we sort of have, in my mind, at least sort of over the last sort of 20 years, like there is a sort of single story of Australia, and that is the outback. And that's so part of, our sort of our world.
And our identity.
It's only a small little piece. There's so much more. You just have to sort of go beneath the surface.
Absolutely. And that's what we're doing in Force of Nature. It's wonderful, showing off another aspect of the beautiful country.
Yeah, well, I thought, what I love about the two films when you put them side to side is that they both are just so completely different and they show off such vastly different aspects of Australia, not only in the locations but in the storytelling and the cast of characters. What was it like for you to film in such an incredible Australian landscape like the Victorian Ranges, which really does become its own kind of character in the movie?
It was fantastic, and we got a welcome to country and a smoking ceremony when we were there, like first thing off the bat, and it was a really wonderful way to pay respect to everyone, mob, elders past, present, emerging, to respect the land that we are occupying. And yeah, we were welcomed, you know what I mean? And then we had permission to be there. And Robin always says that if you don't pay respect to the land and the environment, then things go wrong in filming. And I've seen that. So, I don't believe in ghosts or whatever, but there is sacred land. I mean, we're on Aboriginal land, obviously.
Yeah, totally agree. There's totally something to that. I'm really interested in, as two people who are joining essentially a pre-established world, you've got the first movie, Eric Banner's the only returning actor here. What's it like to kind of jump into this? How do you approach your work? Do you approach it as like a standalone piece, or are you very aware of, I guess, trying to assimilate into what's a pre-established world or story?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously we watched The Dry, we loved it. And I feel like that was enough, really, because when you get there, like the director and the other actors kind of help you with that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also feel like the beauty of it being such an incredibly different film is that we were sort of able to, we didn't have to completely assimilate to what was already pre-existing.
Yeah, it's on the page.
We were able to sort of honor the tone, but also bring a sort of newness and a new sort of story and totally new energy to it. And I think that was cool because it took the pressure off.
Yeah, yeah, it's about the scene on the page in front of you, really, and all you can do is try to play the truth of it. So it's a mystery, but like as an actor, you can't really enter a scene being like, I'm the bad guy right now. Oh, am I? Like you can't play that. You have to play what is in front of you. And so that's the most important thing, I think. And then the amazing directors and the editors and everybody that does all that stuff pulls that shit together, you know?
Yeah. You two are playing sisters in the movie. You have some incredible scenes together. The two characters have a lot of history, a very contentious relationship. Your performances are just so beautiful, and that really comes across so beautifully on the screen. What was it like working together and exploring this dynamic?
I think, as you can see, like we hate each other. So it was
Clearly, we're completely out of sync.
no, it was so fun. I think like the tricky thing was that because we got along so well instantly, we also had to sort of remember that our characters did not always get on. But I feel like because we got to know each other so quickly, we sort of built up that trust. And we were
Yeah,
able to sort
definitely.
of play. And
Definitely. And, you know, we are of a different generation to everybody else in the cast. So we share a language, we share our culture and our history, and, you know, being like biracial, black girls in Australia, like it's just a whole thing. And we really connected on all of that. And we were just instantly. So yeah, building the tension after being such beautiful friends was it's a good thing. It's a good thing you're good at acting. I'm all right, but like, you know.
You are both fantastic. I will say that. You are both amazing. And like I said, your performance is just so great in this movie. You did mention your ensemble cast. Really fantastic, incredible, large female ensemble particularly. What's it like for the both of you to be a part of this?
Oh gosh, surreal. It's totally surreal. I feel like when we were all in that room that first day for the table read, I was like there's like pinching yourself, and then there's like total disbelief. I was just looking around at all of those people I totally admire and revere, and I was like, oh no, why am I
Yeah, why am I here?
moment
What am I
where,
doing
you know,
here?
and it was but at the same time it was also like, okay, we're doing this.
Absolutely.
And you know,
Absolutely.
I don't want to let Deb bleed.
No, never
I
let
don't
Deb
wanna
down.
let her down.
Never let Fabulosa down.
That's incredible. You'd say you're both relative newcomers to this. I mean, Sisi, you've been doing work for 4 or 5 years or so. Lucy, this is your feature debut. So that whole aspect of it must just be just so incredible and perhaps overwhelming, challenging.
Absolutely, yeah, it's wild. It's completely wild. I had no idea how it would feel to be working in this way, but silly. I'm stupidly lucky.
Yeah. This is a lot of acting careers is luck and timing. So, you know, and then if you do get lucky, being prepared. Someone said that. It's a quote somewhere. I don't know.
But you have to have the talent to back it up, and you both have the talent to back it up, which is, I think that's the main thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not a problem at all. Look, our time has run out. I've loved speaking with you both again. It's amazing. I hopefully we'll speak again somewhere down the line. Again, the movie's amazing. You're both incredible in it. You have very, very bright careers ahead of you. And all the best with the movie and whatever you've got lined up in the future. So thanks again for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
It's pretty rare for such a big event film to come out of Australia like this, particularly these days. What has it been like for the both of you to work on this project?
Well, I think it's funny now at this end of the spectrum where we're now promoting it and we can't wait to bring it to our audiences. This is part of the process that I really wanted to be a part of, because with The Dry, I saw for the first time ever a producer and a lead actor just galvanize all the forces they could and bring their film to the public. They traveled with it around Australia, and it was all about word of mouth. And Eric and Robert, both Eric Banner, who is our lead actor, and Robert Connolly, our director, they have always been across all their films about the audience. So I was really looking forward to getting onto that process.
During filming, we were completely covered. Well, I was covered in mud, leeches, dirt. I was soaking wet most of the time, and I love working like that. But it was grueling, and we had an amazing crew to support us on that journey. Like it was grueling.
And it really was the opposite of Hollywood in a way, because we were shooting in the most incredible places down in the I nearly said the Otway Ranges.
Yeah, we're in the Otway Ranges, which is Guttabernard country, and then we're on Wurundjeri land in the Dandenong Ranges. So really diverse, but very rainforest.
And we were very lucky because some of the places we were shooting in had never had film crews in. I don't think anyone was allowed in the real national parks. So we had a very reduced crew. So it wasn't even like an Aussie indie. It was like a kind of documentary.
Yeah, it was ragged.
And we had very few
rough.
takes, and we had to carry everything in on our backs and everything
Not
out.
us.
Well, we did help.
We did.
I carried quite a few slabs of
Beer?
waters and beer. We wish water and stuff in, and so it was really hairy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And so now we have this other end of the spectrum, but because of that, it was just so beautiful, and we really got to experience what it would have been like for those characters to be out there, because we were out there.
And we were
in
at the
it.
mercy of the elements every day.
And Robin was far more at the mercy of those elements than I was. I was back cushily at the hotel, so over to you. What was it like in the drink?
I said to Rob Connolly, when I got out of the river the first time after floating downstream and drowning, partially drowning, I said it felt like a rebirth, because I think everything that we've been through as a collective in the last 3 years has been so intense, and being immersed in Mother Nature, in, as storytellers.
Yes.
Devoted to our craft with this beautiful creative team. I was like, oh, we're back. And I just felt
That's
so...
an ensemble thing, isn't it? We're all
Yeah.
together. And there was one moment where I had to, well, we all ended up, I'm not spoiling here, we all ended up in the river at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
And there was one day when I was shooting, it was absolutely torrential rains. We're shooting in all of it. It didn't matter whether it rained, hailed or storm, but we were in it. And I had to sort of make my way down by a riverbank and come out at this massive, gorgeous waterfall. It was torrential rain. I can see Eric at the top. I can see other people at the top. And I'm standing there. It's our sort of close up with a drone shot. And I'm standing next to Tony Briggs, who brought us the Sapphires, one of our great Australian actors. He hasn't been up here in Sydney on this, sadly, but
Spoke to him the other night, actually, in Melbourne.
oh, you did?
Yeah, he was
So
wonderful.
invigorated by it. We were like freezing. We were alive. And when they called cut, I looked at him and we were freezing. And our lips were blue. And we're going, and I just went, it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't. It doesn't get any better.
Rob would be creep up to us during this hectic day of waterfall action. Like, one more, and we were like, yep, let's go.
We're in.
We're doing this. It's our Tom Cruise day. Let's just...
And the best thing was,
get it.
I mean, you know what? They always say, it's a very strange saying this, because it says the fish stinks from the head up or something. And it means that if things are bad at the top, it trickles down. And with this, I mean, Eric was there every day. Jodie Patterson was on set every day. Rob Connolly, there was such a seamlessness of their communication and support amongst them both. We had a producer on set. We kind of never knew she was there, because she wasn't out there flexing muscles saying, you're running out of time. Just forever supportive of what they all believe in collectively. And it just makes you want to run that extra mile. And when the people at the top are getting down and dirty, and they're carrying the equipment in on their backs, what the hell? It's so much fun, and you really feel like you're all a part of it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We all felt like we're a part of it, didn't it? And
Yeah.
after COVID and being isolated, as you were saying earlier, it's been so intense.
Yeah. And then we all get to come together and just be immersed in the wild and remember our own wildness. And yeah.
And now we're all glammed
fantastic.
up in the wild up here, but we still have Zoom with you.
Of course, yeah, it's great. It sounds like a fantastic experience, and the movies, both films, really are very Australian in nature, in the storytelling, and both use very vastly different kind of locations from Australia to tell those stories. And I feel like as a result, the stories are very different. The films feel very different. What was it like for you to be able to, I guess you've kind of covered it, but being out in that wilderness and using that to help inform your performances and help you in telling the story?
Yeah, I think any kind of preconception that I might have had from reading the novel was kind of washed away as soon as we arrived and we had the welcome to country. And yeah, I just felt immediately connected to the land that we were working on and very privileged to be there. So there was a real sensitivity that was cultivated from the beginning. So that was really important and a crucial part of acclimating to our environment. And then the story kind of tells itself, because if you bring the humanity to it, nature and the elements just worked upon us in a way that you can't replicate in a studio. So it's just
or in
magic.
a read through. We couldn't imagine it. Where we were like really doing what we do the best as actors. We love to get around a circle and talk about the script. I'm the worst.
Me too.
I love it. I love breaking it all down, working out what my function is as a character, and saying, but Robert, this word here, can we move that word? And he's like, yes, you can move that word. And it's very, because that's our backbone when things get really rough. At the end of the day, no matter what happens on that set, I know who my character is and what my function is, and that's what I'm there to do. No matter what happens, what's thrown at me, that is my bedrock. And with this, that was very, very clear, wasn't it? And when you're in the read through, you just sort of like, I'll be acting cold on this. I'll be acting cold. I think she should be cold in this scene. And you can plot it out. I'll be cold in that scene. And guess what? It's boiling hot that day. I'm in 3 wetsuits.
Yeah.
And I'm boiling hot. And it's kind of, well, the environment's telling me I'm hot today, so I'm not doing what I planned. And then there are days when you're absolutely freezing and you thought you'd be really cool that day. Or be, at ease, and you just have to bring what that environment demanded on the day. And that was something that Rob and the girls who were out in it every day really helped inspire, and everybody around us.
I love that. That's amazing. Again, the movie is fantastic. Our time is unfortunately up, but it's been wonderful to speak to you both. I do wish you all the best with the movie and whatever you've got lined up in the future. So thanks so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you. Your mind starts to play tricks on you out there, like you're being watched.